Hey everybody. Today is Sunday, July 21st, and this is your farm garden tour. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that I don't put myself on camera very often. I don't like to be on this side of the camera. But this is going to be a special edition of Farm Garden Tour in memory of my dad, who passed on Friday, July 5th. It's been a rough couple of weeks. I love him and I miss him a lot. We are farming where my dad and my mom live, where my dad was born and raised and returned in his retirement years. A place where my grandma lived until she passed. In a place that I've spent many days and hours and weekends growing up as a kid, being here on the farm and playing in what my dad would call the 68-acre sandbox because we have lots of sand here. And believe you me, even though I was a city kid my entire life, my heart has always been here on the farm. And I'm sweaty and dirty, and that's kind of what happens when I'm here at the farm. So, if this portion of the video is not your cup of tea and you'd like to just get right into seeing what the garden looks like, go ahead and fast forward through this whole part where you see my ugly mug, and I'm going to attach a few photos and a couple videos of my dad, and you can get right into the farm garden tour. For those of you who are sticking it out with me, thank you. Thank you all so much for the kind words and cards and prayers. And Troy's holding my hand off camera here. He can join me if he'd like, but I appreciate him being here. He's been a rock, helping the family figure out the new normal and get things taken care of. So real quick, Dad went peacefully and quickly, very quickly, which in a way was a blessing.
That's what he wanted.
Tough for all of us to adjust to that. Been working with Mom to help her find her new normal, and she's going to be well cared for and well taken care of. My Aunt Diane, my Uncle Ralph, I appreciate everything that they've done to help us. And my Stevens family, thank you all so much for the prayers and thoughts and the strength that have helped us get through these last couple of weeks. My dad would probably say that at 3 minutes and 42 seconds, I've spent far too much time crying and far too much time being sad, and he would want me to remember the good times and the goofy times and smile. And there's things that we planted in the garden this year that I planted just for him that he'll never get to see, but I know that he's looking down on us from above. And we did our first pea harvest somewhere in the last week and a half. We had creamed new potatoes and peas out of the garden, which is one of his favorites. Unfortunately, he didn't get to share in any of that bounty with us. We also had enough shelled peas to freeze, I think, 5.5 cups, which is a success because, well, success to people like my mom and Troy, because they liked eating the cooked peas, and Dad and I liked eating them raw straight out of the garden. So, yeah, I planted sunflowers for Dad. I tried last year, but I didn't put them in the garden and none of them took. I decided that if I wanted sunflowers, I was going to have to put them in the garden so that they were being watered and fertilized, and that's been the trick. They're doing really well. I'll show you those in a minute. Also planted a squash called Turk's Turban, which they get big, and they're goofy looking, and Dad loved them, so we've got one of those in the garden. And so everything that we were doing in the garden, we had planned on sharing with him. We're now growing in memory of him, and I know as we walk through the garden and feel overwhelmed with the bounty right now, because there's so many other things going on, that he's proud of us and he's proud of what we're doing. That's one thing I appreciated about Dad, is that he never missed an opportunity to tell us that he loved us and that he was proud of us, even when we probably hadn't done things to make him proud. We made some pretty dumb mistakes, but you know what? He always said, you don't sweat the small shit, and it's all small shit. So, love you, Dad. Miss you. This garden tour's for you. Thank you.
Yeah! There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make a play. And the swiftness of
Here's a continuation of your farm garden tour for Sunday, July 20th. 21st. It's the 21st. And there's a hot diggity dog. We did a little harvesting today. Those are green beans, all 3 different kinds or 4 different kinds of beans that we have. We've got some that are a French variety. They're real long and skinny. Some Blue Lake. Are those Dragon Tongue or Dragon Wing? I don't
Dragon's
remember.
Tongue.
Dragon's Tongue. And then some Royal Burgundy. We've already snapped some, and we're going to have beans, bacon, and potatoes for supper tonight. Or whatever meal we're having.
Or supper.
There's some new potatoes that Troy dug today. We've got, not Yukon Gold, German Butterball.
Butterball and Viking Red.
Viking Red. And we found a couple cucumbers. So, on with the tour. So the garden, I don't want to say has been ignored, but it hasn't really been tended for the last couple of weeks.
It's been neglected.
It's been neglected, but thankfully the weather has held and it's producing quite nicely. You know, we're over here, we might as well start on the south side of the garden.
The mess.
Yeah, the biggest mess. So tomatoes, we had started putting these up and pruning them and staking them. You can see at the end of the row they are messy and crazy. We will get to that and get them pruned up, but they are setting on fruit. These are San Marzanos and they are looking good. We've got a little bit of some blighty leaves down there that I need to trim up, but again, there's been other things going on, other things to take care of, and that is a pink Berkeley. I just stepped on something really sharp, so I'm trying to get that out of my shoe. So yeah, everything is starting to look good. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say about the tomatoes. They are wild and crazy, but they're putting on fruit. We need to get out here and weed. We need to get out here and tie these guys up, because as you can see, they're going absolutely nuts. These here are Amish paste. That one is a really weird shape. It must have been an oddball blossom.
I don't think those are Amish paste.
They might not be. We'll have to see what they develop into, but they're not really shaped like Amish paste, so I'm not sure. We'll we'll see as they start really truly bearing fruit.
Because these are like giant garden taste.
Yeah. Nothing is blushing or turning color yet, but they're coming along. Got some little cucumbers down here. These were planted almost a month later than most of them, but they are starting to set on some little cukes. Our beans, these are the Blue Lake pole beans that we harvested just today. We've harvested twice off of the peas, shell peas and snow peas. We still have 2 grocery bags full of snow peas that we need to process, blanch them, freeze them. Cucumbers are coming on. Check that out. This variety is really young. I probably didn't have to pick this, but
Summer Dance.
it's a Summer Dance cucumber, and I'm hungry for cucumber, so picked that one and a couple others earlier today that we're gonna have for lunch. Yeah, these cucumbers are coming on. Troy, I think we'll pick a few and let you take them to work. And yeah, and my plan is to make sure that I'm eating more fresh as the garden's producing. I last year, in hindsight, recognized that I was more concerned about preserving and putting stuff up, and I hardly ate any tomatoes. I didn't feel like I ate that many cucumbers, but this year's going to be different. So these are the snow peas. There is some new growth on them. So we might get another harvest, but you can see as the temperatures have started to get warmer, they're kind of starting to die off, which is normal, and which is why we planted the peas so early this year, because 1, the weather allowed for it, and 2, they like the cooler weather. So here we go. We could probably swing through and harvest one more time on these shell peas. I don't know how much we have. Was it a grocery bag full?
Yeah.
We got a grocery bag full that we need to shell. There's another area where I will miss Dad, because he would sit and shell peas and snap beans like it was nobody's business, and that was so helpful. So our potatoes are doing well over here. Still some bugs, but we're picking them, we're squishing them, and I don't want to say we're winning the battle, but we're doing okay. We've only had a couple of plants that we've actually just pulled, so it hasn't been too terrible. This is what Troy picked off just today. Yuck, yuck. But I'd rather do that and do that method than bomb it with chemicals. We did, in between the different types of potato plants, this is going to be a little rocky getting in here, but in between the different kinds of potatoes, we planted zinnias, and the zinnias are blooming, and they are beautiful. All different colors. It's kind of nice to have that little pop in the garden. And Duke has been helping himself too to peas and such. So anyway, more potatoes, more beans. Those are all doing okay. The onions, these are set onions that were planted about a month after the set onions that are over there. We've got Swiss chard that's ready to eat. We've got some radishes and beets down here. Yesterday, was it the night before? Night before, we picked some young beets and a couple onions and some potatoes, and we roasted them in a packet on the grill, and it was so good. What say you, Troy?
Oh, these beets are like eating candy, and I was one that always felt like beets tasted like you're eating dirt, and these do not taste that way at all.
No. They're pretty stinking amazing.
What I'm doing right now is thinning to take some home to have some at home.
Huh. I'm going to skip down a little ways here. We've got a couple of different varieties of beets. And then we've got the sunflowers. So these shorter guys here are called teddy bear sunflowers. They get really bushy and they have really big blooms on them. And then These kind of were planted in varieties that go shortest to tallest. And I would say the tallest one down there is about the same height as I am, so about 5'8". And what makes me really happy is that we're starting to see their beautiful faces. So these are for you, Dad. I hope they put a smile on your face like they put a smile on mine. We've got some radishes down here. Probably pluck a few of these today. We've got icicle. Oh my goodness, there's icicle. And got some Easter eggs that are red in various different colors. Our daikon, not a good year for daikon. They all bolted on us. I think it was because we didn't thin them early enough. So no daikon this year. Maybe we could plant another in the fall. As long as I'm here on the edge of the field, I thought I'd show you. There was a bumper crop of hay this year. This has all been cut and baled in the last 2 weeks. There are a total of 64 bales between what you see here and the 5 acres that's on the other side of the wooded area of the farm. So those are 1,500, 2,000 pound bales. It's good stuff for our farmer friend to feed his cattle and such. These are turnips. Yeah, don't have much to say about the turnips. They definitely need to be thinned. And those are another favorite of my Uncle Ralph and my dad. And our peppers are starting to come. This warmer weather has really helped them come along and start to set on some blooms. There's a little blossom right there. And we got some jalapenos down here that are really starting to get tall and put on blooms. So we should have a decent pepper crop this year. We'll have to wait and see. And into our brassicas. So I don't know exactly what these are. I think they might be cauliflower. They might be broccoli. Here's broccoli. Got a nice head there. And there's a slightly different variety of broccoli. I know I planted 2 different varieties of broccoli. This one is a bit more blue in color. This one a bit more yellowish green. But yeah, those are ready to harvest. That big one especially, it looks like it's getting close to going to seed. So we'll have to make sure we get that picked and taken out. So on with the brassicas. I'll have to tell you exactly what's what once it starts putting on its fruit. There's cauliflower in here somewhere. These are purple cabbages. They're a little slow to take off, but they're coming. We got the Brussels sprouts over there. They're coming on. And our cabbage, we've got a little insect chewing here, but they're starting to form heads. There's a nice head there. And a really nice head there. And over here on the end, we have a megaton. And I think this one here is a megaton as well. Those, we had basketball-sized cabbages from that type of plant last year. Celery. Holy crap for celery. Look at that. These tiny, tiny little sprouts are coming along. It's pretty amazing. I did chew on one of those leaves just to see what it tasted like. And this is a crop that requires blanching. So if you buy a head of celery in the grocery store, you'll notice that especially down at the base, the stalks are kind of whitish. And those almost don't have a flavor. They're very watery, juicy. And in order to get that, you've got to kind of wrap these up about 2 weeks before you harvest them. And that's called blanching. So I did sneak a leaf and chewed on it. It was kind of neat. It did definitely taste like celery and almost had a peppery flavor. I kind of liked it. So yeah, those are coming along. Come down here a little ways. I kind of skipped over these onions. We've got bunching onions that are coming up over here. They look good. I'm actually tempted to pick a couple bunches because, man, the tinier the better. I don't know. They'll get bigger, and I just need to be patient. But there's a part of me that wants to pick those and eat them in something.
There's a couple that aren't far off. I mean, granted, we could let them get a lot taller.
Let's pick that bunch right there. That second one.
This one?
Right here. Yeah. Pick that one. We got some visitors coming into the garden, so you might hear some noise. Oh, look at those. They're so pretty. Yay. Also want to send out to Mr. and Mrs. Ron and Diane Bollicky, our very first farm garden tour subscribers who've come and taken a tour in person. It was great to see you guys. Thank you so much for stopping. And yeah, just give us a call if you want to come. You might get put to work if you come and visit, but we'll be happy to have you. So now we're over here in the vines. We've got the squash. This is the Turk's Turban. We've got another one sitting on here. And then we've got melons. And these are our potatoes that we planted for the purpose of harvesting as new potatoes. Vines are doing well. Holy cow. 2 days ago, that zucchini there was about the size of 2 fingers put together. And now it's rapidly growing and there are more setting on. So zucchini lovers, there you have it. And as we get over here, we've got the watermelons. They're coming. This is cantaloupe. Here's watermelon. I'm hungry for watermelon, Troy.
I know, so am I. I can't wait.
Can't wait. So, again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support you've sent to us over the last couple of weeks. And I know Dad would be proud. So, that's all for now. Take care. Until next time.